What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie the Black, STEVEE, the Black. I'm back. So I just wanted to make this quick video. Um, so today on First Take, there was a debate because Dan Orlovsky made a a ranking of all the quarterbacks in the NFC, right? And here's the list. He had Wilson at number one, Brady at number two, Breeze at number three, Wentz at number four, Rodgers at number five. And so obviously people are going to look at that list and they're going to go, well, wait a minute. How the heck do you have Aaron Rodgers under Carson Wentz, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. That's a stupid argument. Blah 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 blah. Me being an Eagles fan, I'm not gonna say clearly. If I had to choose between the two, I'm gonna choose my guy. Like you want to say that's biased, fine. If I had to have a game-winning drive, no, let me take that back. If I had to have one game, I would take a game that I had to win between Carson Wentz and Aaron Rodgers. I'd probably take Aaron Rodgers, and that's not a knock on Carson Wentz. They're saying that he can't win me this one important game, even though he now has done it, or 4 times in a row last year. But I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. But that's just to say Aaron Rodgers has done it more, okay? Like, I'm not gonna disrespect Aaron Rodgers. You want to say, look at his numbers. He's clearly declined over the last couple of years, and okay, fine. Um, Again, if you, I'm not gonna have an argument with you if you say, oh, Aaron Rodgers is above Carson Wentz. That's fine. I'm not stupid. That's fine. What I will argue is that Carson Wentz is not a top 5 quarterback in the NFC. That is where we differ. And so the point of this video now is I'm going to name each of the starting quarterbacks in the NFC, and I want you to tell me, would you prefer Wentz or would you prefer this person? Okay? Now, before I do that, one last point. One of the points that Max made was that Wentz feasted on a terrible, NFC East. And that's true, right? But for years, the NFC North was weak, was it not? And Aaron Rodgers feasted on them. So does that clearly mean Aaron Rodgers is not a good quarterback? Oh, I mean, we have to take that away from him because the NFC North was weak. What about Tom Brady? I mean, everyone's always talking about how the AFC East is weak and he ain't got no competition. They win every year. At least when he was in New England. Is that Tom Brady's fault he's in a weak division? No. That's the team's fault. That's not my fault. So to use that argument to me is completely whack and weak. I just want to let that be known, okay? So, all right, so here we go. Here are the quarterbacks. And all you got to do is tell me, who would you want? All right, here we go. Would you rather have Carson Wentz or would you rather have Matt Ryan? And remember, we're talking about right now, not a couple years ago when Matt Ryan was MVP. But heck, you want to compare Matt Ryan's MVP case against Carson Wentz's? That's all you, bro. But whatever. We're talking about right now, presently. Who do you want? Do you want Matt Ryan or do you want Carson Wentz? I think that's obvious. Who do you want? Do you want Teddy Bridgewater or do you want Carson Wentz? I'll wait. Oh, Carson Wentz. Okay. Do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Jared Goff? Oh, that's another easy one. That's Carson Wentz. Do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Jimmy Garoppolo? Oh, you think for 1 second. Wait a minute. No, see, I got you right there. Nah, let's not remember it was not Jimmy Garoppolo who took them to the Super Bowl. It was the running game and the defense. That's what it was. Let's not forget he only threw what? 75 yards in the NFC Championship game? Clearly the coach doesn't trust him. And then when they had to rely on him in the Super Bowl, he didn't deliver. Do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Kyler Murray? Now, you can say, well, that's not fair. He was a rookie. Okay, we don't know what he is yet. But again, we're going based off of right now. And right now, we're taking Carson Wentz. Okay? This is an even easier one. Do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Mitchell Trubisky? We won't even gotta discuss that. We already know the answer. Do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Matthew Stafford? Or you can say, Matthew Stafford got a big arm. Carson Wentz got a big arm. And, Matthew Stafford benefited from having Megatron for all those years. And then, he had Golden Tate. Carson Wentz, he had one good receiver for 1 year. And that was Alshon Jeffrey. And then he had Deshaun Jackson for one game. And those were in 2 different seasons. So, do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Kirk Cousins? Everyone knows Kirk Cousins is a stat stuffer, and I'll give him this. Look, he beat us badly last year. He finally won a playoff game, so I'm gonna give him that. He went into New Orleans and he beat Drew Brees, so that's not an easy thing to do. I'll give him that. But statistically, if you really think about it, do you really want Kirk Cousins or do you want Carson Wentz? I mean, do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Daniel Jones? Again, you can say, that's not fair. He was a rookie. Well, again, we're going based off of right now. And right now, Carson Wentz is better than Daniel Jones. Now, do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Dwayne Haskins? Again, you can say, he's a rookie. That doesn't count. Again, we're going based off of right now. And as of right now, Carson Wentz is better. So, now, there's one where people are going to argue with because there's only one quarterback left. Who could that possibly be? Do you want Carson Wentz or do you want Dak Prescott? The ultimate debate. It's not a coincidence that the winners of the NFC East have been Dak, Wentz, Dak, Wentz. That's not a coincidence. That's really not. You could two couple things you can have Dak Prescott over Carson Wentz: his availability and the fact that he has a playoff win. Dak Prescott has those two things over him, right? But you have to remember, Dak had a better head start than Carson Wentz because when Dak took over the Cowboys, he took over Tony Romo's team that was meant for him. So he had Tony Romo's offensive line, and Zeke was meant for Tony Romo, and he had a pretty good, a little bit left, Dez Bryant, and he had good old Jason Witten, old reliable, and he had Cole Beasley, who was some reason always open, So he had a pretty good team. As with Wentz, we had Josh Huff and DGB, and I don't even remember. He had I don't even remember the other quarterbacks. He had Aguilar. He had who else he had? Jordan Matthews. Okay. So come on now. So then now we got to take it as you take away their best things. How do they perform? You've taken away Tyrann Mathieu or Smith. You take away Ezekiel Elliott. Back before he had Amari Cooper, you take him away. And Dak was struggling. He did not win the division. It proved he needed Zeke. I mean, this year basically proved it. They went 8-9. You can say, oh, well, he had a worse coach than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz got Doug Peterson. Okay, sure, it does come down to the coach, but again, at some point, does talent not beat? What's the word I'm looking for? Unknowing. The unknown, right? Carson Wentz was playing with the unknown. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is that week 16, none of the other previous games even mattered. This was the Cowboys' game to win, and the Eagles thoroughly dominated the game. The score said 17-9. The score should have been like 26-9 because Elliott missed like 2-3 field goals. But for the most part, the Eagles were in control of that game. And you can say, well, he barely beat the terrible NFC East teams. Okay. Had he had better weapons, he probably would have blew him out. But the fact of the matter is he had to work with what he had to work with. And when you have to work with less talented guys, while you may have the better coach or, whatever, at the end of the day, you got to work with what you got, And Dak, we've seen Carson Wentz without practically his whole line. Jason Peters in and out, Lane Johnson out, Brandon Brooks out. We've seen this, and hey, he struggled. But last year he had two of his best linemen missing in the final 2 games or so. So I mean, at the end of the day, Carson Wentz is a top 5 quarterback. I don't see, if you want to argue Dak Prescott, that's fine. Because I'm an Eagles fan, I'm always going to choose Carson Wentz. I have great respect for Dak Prescott. I don't hate Dak Prescott, but because he's associated with the Cowboys, he's immediately psych. But I do respect him, and clearly he's more sturdy than Carson Wentz, and he's got the playoff win and everything. And I mean, look, again, as great as Nick Foles was during 17, I mean, he doesn't, and yes, he has to play the games now. He has to play the games. But at the end of the day, if Wentz didn't do what he did in this regular season to get them to that position, say we had to go on the road, right? Could Nick Foles still have done what he did? I don't know. I mean, the next year kind of says, yeah, because we beat Chicago, and then if Alshon didn't drop the ball, we would have beat the Saints. We would have been in the NFC Championship game. So, I mean, and then you also have to look at it like this. When Carson Wentz is in, plus when Nick Foles was in, Doug Peterson calls 2 very different games. He calls it, was he aggressive with Nick Foles during the playoffs? Yes. But he relies more on the run game with Nick Foles. With Carson Wentz, it's more of explosiveness and gotta make a big play and everything like that, right? So that's not Carson Wentz's fault. That's a Doug Peterson fault. So we are gonna say that as well. And speaking of Nick Foles, he's in the NFC too. Would you rather have Nick Foles or Carson Wentz? And I love Nick Foles, but come on, not Carson Wentz, man. So at the end of the day, it's, if you want to, Carson Wentz is the 5th best quarterback in the NFC to me. I mean, those of you who want to put maybe Dak in front of him, I will argue that. But Carson Wentz is clearly top 5. The rest of the NFC is just okay to mediocre quarterback. So that's my opinion. Let me know what yours is in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out the video I did yesterday about, was it yesterday or the day before? Yes, on Saturday. The video I did before, check out the video before this one where I said Howie Roseman failed Carson Wentz. Check that video out. I'll be back later this week to give my thoughts on the whole WrestleMania thing and everything. So that's pretty much it. Until next time, if you're not down with that, I've just got 3 words for you. Fly, Eagles, fly. Peace out, guys.